Hey, what's up and how's it going, everyone? Well, I'm so glad that you have took your time to spend with me right here today on the MRB Wrestling Review Show. I'm your co-host, Mike McRock Wilson, and last night was TNA Impact Wrestling from Salt Lake City, Utah, and the show kicked off when Dixie Carter came out to the ring and mentioned what happened last week with AJ Styles about people walking out on Dixie Carter, etc., etc. And then she mentions that there's going to be a new World Heavyweight Champion. I like how she mentioned that AJ Styles' title belt is now just a toy, and now she's moving on to this tournament that she announced, and the winner is going to be the new TNA World Heavyweight Champ. Now, we already know that AJ Styles is the TNA champion. I like how they're going to play this out, and I hope they play it out smart and let this tournament run through and for AJ Styles to come back at the right time. That's what I hope on this storyline from TNA. And the participants in this match are going to be James Storm, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Chris Sabin, and the winner of a gauntlet match. And throughout that segment, we saw Bully Ray coming out. Now, I'll point out right away, if you noticed, Austin Aries looking at Brooks' ass. Oh, genius. Just something weird you see in the back. It's just one of those little things that you kind of, pick up while you're watching the show. I enjoyed Austin Aries playing that part in the back. It was really quite entertaining. And throughout that entire segment between Bully Ray and Dixie Carter, you know you're a great heel when you have other people that are also not fan favorites to not be on your side as well. I really enjoyed that interaction between Dixie Carter and Bully Ray. I like how Dixie said, "I'm going to steal a line for you," and shut the music off. And then Bully Ray comes back with it, "Do you know who I am?" and stuff like that. It's all, and it kind of improved Dixie Carter's acting a bit. I thought Dixie was actually pretty funny throughout that entire exchange with Bully Ray. And shortly after, the lights go out, and Mr. Anderson comes in and throws punches with Bully Ray. I like this build-up with this future one-on-one match. When it does happen, I'm already sold. So with that being said, Anderson-Bully Ray is probably going to be quite the entertaining rivalry. And I like how backstage, after we saw that when Anderson was being escorted by security, we saw Bully Ray attacking from behind, and I like the way Anderson sells his bumps. It's totally over the top and yet totally believable, and I like to see where this is going to go. And hopefully they have the Aces and Eights last two members kind of play into this story as well. I think what might happen is for Anderson to maybe join Knox and Garrett Bischoff and reform a new Aces and Eights, while Bully Ray might be outcasted from the group. I think if they play on that, I think they would do a great job on that storyline aspect to this rivalry between Anderson and Bully Ray. Also on the show, we saw James Storm and Gunner taking on the Bromance for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. It's their pretty much the rematch, and of course, Bromance cheated to win. I like how in the beginning James Storm and Gunner took the fight to the Bromance before they even entered the ring. It shows their frustration of what happened at Bound for Glory, and what I also like is that James Storm and Gunner done most of the work in that match, and then we saw the Bromance kind of steal that victory, which signalizes that this feud between Storm and Gunner and the Bromance is not over, and for that reason, I don't think James Storm will be the guy to win this tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship because he's involved in this tag team storyline with the Bromans and his partner Gunner. I think if James Storm and Gunner branched off as singles competitors, this would probably help James Storm as a singles competitor, but we're so used to seeing him being in tag team matches with someone else. He's kind of like Hernandez, only as a more believable speaker, and it's just really hard to see James Storm as a singles guy because, like I said, we're so used to him being in tag teams such as AMW, Beer Money Inc., and now this new team with Gunner and Storm. Even though I think they're going to play each other apart, it's going to happen sooner rather than later, and we'll see what happens in the weeks to come if that does happen. Also on the show, we saw Ethan Carter III taking Nor Verna, a jobber that we saw at Bound for Glory. Now he's facing him again, and I really like how these superstars come in and just do a job that they don't benefit from, and they kind of sell that finisher from Ethan Carter pretty well. It's kind of like they're channeling their inner RVD, like what Dewey Barnes did, and the same thing with Nora Vera. And the only thing that I'm nitpicking about this match is that it's becoming very repetitive in these jobber matches they're putting Ethan Carter in, because we see in the first minute or so where Ethan Carter just dominates the guy, the other guy comes back with a move, and then one big move after that, and then Ethan Carter and then they slip and Ethan Carter capitalizes and nails his finisher. I like to see these jobber matches mix up a little bit, and just to make more believable matches for Ethan Carter, and hopefully something like that. If they do continue these jobber matches, hopefully they do mix it up. And with Ethan Carter, like I said, the only reason why he's going over with the fans is because he's a Carter. I think if he never had that, we all be hearing crickets. I know I mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. And he needs to, I don't know, there's just something missing from Ethan Carter. He needs to do something more. He needs to work, be on the microphone a bit more, and have a longer match with these jobbers as well. Like I said, mix it up. Hopefully something does happen, and let Ethan Carter III build up slowly, bit by bit, in a more believable kind of way. And then we saw the gauntlet match. Now, I'm going to nitpick a bit. This wasn't really a gauntlet match because it was pretty much an over-the-top battle royal. And a gauntlet match is normally, the guy running through the gauntlet, pinfall or submission. One guy comes out, another guy comes out, and another guy comes out until there's two left. So with that said, just the name of the match is kind of off. I would rather hear the announcer say that this is going to be a battle royal when the winner will be the 8th participant in this tournament. Now, I can understand why they done this, because they want to change it up a bit. So I kind of like that as well. And let's see what happened. Sting was the one that kicked off the match. Kaz, Knox, Eric Young, Daniels, Manic, and the last guy to come out was Magnus, and all these guys were in this battle royal. And here I'm thinking, okay, there's only one or two guys in this match that make me convinced that they're going to win. And the way TNA books these guys and how they're used on TNA, is another sign of, okay, I know who's going to win before this guy wins, and I was right. Magnus got the victory, and he's the 8th participant going into this tournament. And it almost seems like now that Magnus will be the guy that gets redemption after he came so close in the Battle for Glory series tournament. And I think this will be his tournament. And with that being said, this has Magnus written all over it, because out of these 8 guys, now I'm going to pick apart this tournament now. You got James Storm. I already mentioned why I don't think he'll win. Samoa Joe and Jeff Hardy are 2 guys that wins and losses really don't matter to them. And that's the reason why I don't think they'll win the tournament. I think they're going to let this Kurt Angle and Bobby Roode rivalry play out more. And I don't think those 2 will win. Even Chris Sabin as well. And I'm surprised that he actually made the tournament because of his short championship run as a World Heavyweight Champion. Austin Aries is a wild card in my opinion, because he's a guy that can come out of nowhere and win this tournament. But I think that Magnus will be the guy to win this tournament, because he's the only guy in that tournament that is not a former World Heavyweight Champion. And for that reason, I think he'll be the guy to win this tournament. And also that he's a young guy, and the young guys need a push, and he's the perfect guy to push right now to become that guy to be the champion. And when AJ Styles comes back, I'd love to see those 2 have a stare down and have that confrontation before they duke it out to see who is the real World Heavyweight Champion. That's what I hope happens going forth in this tournament and letting this play out. Also on the show, we saw Gail Kim versus ODB. Boom! For the Knockouts Championship. And for what that was worth, I thought that was a really physical match. You know, there was the Boston Crab applied on Gail Kim, the figure 4 from the corner, and other moves, etc., etc. The fallaway slam from outside the ring. Ow, that's gotta hurt. So I like how, you know, those 2 really work well with each other. I think they trust each other when they're wrestling. So with that being said, I thought it was a great match for what it was worth. And I like that Gail Kim retained, because it's way too soon for her to lose that championship because of this new alliance she has with Lady Tapa. And it's almost, and what I also like about this is that we never really got an explanation to why Lady Tapa joined Gail Kim to be her bodyguard. And I like how they leave things unexplained, and some things are better off unexplained, just for the sake of storytelling, the storytelling aspect. And for that reason, I think that going forth, Lady Tapa is the only logical knockout on the roster to be the one that will be the next in line for the Knockouts Championship, because I know that Gail Kim is the Knockouts champ. I have no problem with that. It's just the Knockouts division itself. I think it needs a reboot. And it's not just Gail Kim, because Gail Kim is the right champion going forth. We need more knockouts. We need new knockouts. And we need knockouts coming back, like Taryn Terrell. And Velvet Sky needs to be used more properly. And I think that if they do these kind of things, there will be hope in the Knockouts division. Also on the show, you know it's a good Halloween special when you see guys dressed up. And case in point, Kaz and Daniels with their ridiculously Sherlock Holmes outfits and their ridiculous accents. And they're very ridiculous, so it's a win-win situation. And with that being said, that was one funny segment they had when they were out to the ring and they were trying to look for Abyss. And you know it's a Halloween show when you have Abyss, and without Abyss it's not a Halloween show. And I like when Eric Young came out, he was dressed up as Joseph Parks. That was a nice touch on the part of Eric Young. And then when the 2-on-1 tag and when the 2-on-1 attack was made in the ring, out comes Abyss, evens the odds, and I like that little thing that happened after they got Kaz and Daniels, where Abyss helps up Eric Young, and I could see something happen. I hope TNA capitalizes on this, because I can see so many interesting things coming from Eric Young and Abyss. I like to see segments where Eric Young experiments on his monster, have a Dr. Frankenstein vibe throughout this story. I hope that TNA does capitalize on this opportunity to go somewhere with this character and this story with Eric Young and Abyss. Hopefully it does happen. Also on the show, we saw the Dixie Wheel. Now, this is a new element we're going to have in this tournament, and I like it. What's going to happen is that there's going to be certain stipulations that's going to happen, and we don't know what stipulations it's going to be. It's almost like TNA playing on WWE's Raw Roulette, where you spin the wheel and you don't know when it's going to land on, and whatever stipulation it lands on, it's going to be that match. Next week, Jeff Hardy versus Chris Sabin will be Full Metal Mayhem, and the winner advances in the tournament. Now, what I like about this is that this is something new coming out of a tournament. It's not really a straightforward pinfall submission tournament where one winner advances to another round. I like how they mix it up. It's something cool, new, and exciting, and fresh. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing this tournament play out and see what will happen throughout this tournament. Who will face who and what stipulation it's going to be. I know there's brackets. I don't know them off by hand just yet. I'll look on the website to see what they are. But what I like about this is that, like I said, it's something new and exciting. I don't know if it's ever been done before, and that's why I'm really looking forward to this tournament throughout the weeks to come on TNA. And the main event. Now, I know there's a lot of people debating about the ending, and I'll get to that when I review this main event. It was Bobby Roode and Kurt Angle, the rematch from Bound for Glory. Hands down, the most incredible match. I think they topped their Bound for Glory match. Despite both endings, I think they topped their Bound for Glory match. It was an incredible wrestling match from Kurt Angle and Bobby Roode. I like how Bobby Roode was trying to avoid the match by going to the doctor and trying to get them to not have Kurt Angle wrestle him because he knows he's going to take him out anyway. And I like how he used that doctor to his advantage. The doctor told Kurt Angle that he told him not to compete, but he's also cleared to wrestle, but he wrestled anyway. He's Kurt Angle. And you got to give credit where credit is due. Kurt Angle was tremendous on the show last night, despite that he's somehow wrestling with an injury, which I'll get to in a bit. And like I said, that match was absolutely incredible. I like the back and forth with the ankle lock and the crossface to the ankle lock to the crossface. And stuff like that really made that match worth watching. And I like how they almost played up on the angle slam from the top rope, which didn't happen. History didn't repeat itself. But I like how they teased it in that match. And I like how Roode's strategy was applied. I like how he used that modified neck breaker on Kurt Angle, working the head, working his injury throughout that match. I thought Roode's strategy was absolutely great. And Kurt Angle was really taken to the fight to Bobby Roode. Those 6 German suplexes, oh man, every time Kurt Angle applies a German suplex to his opponent, it somehow manages to make me cringe. And it's absolutely incredible what Kurt Angle can do in that ring. Absolutely incredible. He's an Olympic gold medalist. And he's probably one of the greatest wrestlers, the greatest wrestler to ever step foot in any ring, whether it's WWE or TNA. So with that being said, I'd like to see where this is going to go with Kurt Angle, because what happened was that Kurt Angle got KO'd after he went up to the top rope and threw Rude off. And the way he hit his head was kind of like on the shoulder or the forearm on Bobby Roode, and he was just out. He was out cold. And I don't know if it's a sell job or if it's real or fake. You can debate about it. And the interesting thing is, I've read the comments under the TNA video about people saying, oh, this was fake, this was a work. God bless Kurt Angle, I hope he's okay. And you know when TNA is doing something good, when you have people debating about if this was real, if this was fake. And I think the more I think about it, I think it's a bit of both. I think that Kurt Angle was going into this match injured or hurt, whether if it was his knees, his back, or his broken freaking neck, or his head, or anything of that nature. And it really dates back even before WrestleMania 19, when he was going to face Brock Lesnar for the title, and he was going in that match with a broken neck. And he was all out in that match. It was one of the best WrestleMania matches that I've ever seen at a WrestleMania, and that's another video for another time. And with that being said, Kurt Angle last night, if that was an act, I gotta say, he was absolutely incredible. He should at least be nominated for Actor of the Year. The way he was selling that concussion-like injury, with the way his eyes were, the way he was moving, his motor skills, etc., etc. And I really like how he made that look so real. I was there thinking, oh my god, is he alright? So I like how Kurt Angle, if this was, let's just assume this was fake, he was a great actor. Absolutely incredible. And if it's not, well, hopefully Kurt Angle does get better. And I think what's going on is that there is a bit of both going on. And there's going to be a lot of people debating about this ending. And I think it really made up for Bound for Glory's ending as well, because the way Bobby Roode won, it was a pinfall victory over the Angle Slam off the top rope, which kind of came off as weird. But I like how the last night's match really made up for it, because there was no pinfall victory. It was the ref stopping the match, and I think that was the right decision on the part of the referee as well. And it was also a smart decision on the part of TNA for ending it the way that they did. And there you have it. That was my review of last night's TNA Impact Wrestling. What did you think about the ending? Was it real or was it fake? Comment below and let me know. And to all you MRBers watching, get plenty of rest and always do your best.